The event probably crosses more age groups to be viewers than literally any other baseball sport. There's just a joy in it, and I do think that's what attracts people.
Karl Ravech from ESPN joining us right now. Ravi, what do you think, man? We'll just bring you right into the combo. We're talking about the two best teams since the end of May, and how you doing? You got your boy who you've seen quite a bit lately right above you.
I know. This little Brady Bunch look. I can see him right up there. He looks good. It's good to see that guy right there. What do I think about the Astros? Yeah, I think the Astros are probably the best team in the American League right now. I would think that they would be the favorite. I think it's the Orioles and the Yankees, but the Astros were, in the rear view, and the Astros are now in the front seat. And as you just said, Kyle Tucker comes back. They're getting better. I think Verlander's a bit of a concern. He has not been very good, and I'm not sure that he ever becomes that guy again this season. You're kind of waiting for that start where all of a sudden it clicks, but that hasn't happened yet. And who knew that Yusei Kikuchi was going to be this good? That's one of those things where you love to see it, but as Chris Berman used to say when he would toss it to John Kruk, we knew, but we didn't know. Like, we're not sure what that means, but we didn't know that Yusei Kikuchi was going to be this good. But I think the Astros are as well-rounded a team as they've been in a long time, and I'd probably put them number one in the power rankings in the American League.
Wow, well, that's pretty bold of you. I like that. I like they're hot, Ravi. They're hot. I get it.
Yeah. Well, who wouldn't be? Who would you put there? I mean, is that an Orioles Yankees conversation? Yankees have some problems at the back end of that bullpen.
No, till today, yeah, of course, yeah. I think it's Astros and Orioles for sure. The bullpen is man, I don't know. They didn't do anything to get any pieces, and that's the biggest problem they're having right now, because we know they can hit.
Yeah.
But Houston's going to be Houston. My first question to you would be: did you play any pickleball this morning?
It's funny you ask. I had a doctor's appointment. This morning at 10:40. There was an opportunity to play at noon, and I kind of walked in the house, and I said, "I think I'm going to go down there and play." And I got one of those quizzical looks, like, "Really? You're going to go do that today?" It's been pretty consistent, so no, that did not happen today. But it has happened several times since I've been home. And that's one of the goals next year, to get Todd Frazier out on the pickleball court.
I still haven't played, so and I think I'd be all right with it.
You'd be great at it. You got to stop trading pins like 24/7. Take a little break from the pin trading and come on out and play.
I know. I want to talk just a little bit about the Little League World Series. They had since 2015 the most watched game. Man, what do you think? And why do you think this year, for some reason, all of a sudden people are, not necessarily back watching it, but it was like such a big event going on for this year?
Yeah, it's a great question. To me, the event probably crosses more age groups to be viewers than literally any other baseball sport. I mean, college appeals to a particular group. I think the major leagues appeal to, and I know we're trying to grow it and have it appeal to younger people, but I think there's an older group. And I do think with Little League, just walking around my neighborhood here, you can have 80-year-olds and 8-year-olds talk to you about it, and that means anybody in between. And I do think that, I think the 6 innings is a big deal. To me, it's binge watching. I mean, this is how people consume, all of their programs now. And Little League, the World Series, is binge watching. It's 11 nights, and every night you're going to see this fairly entertaining, well played, quick, not too serious, not screaming about another blown save or a guy that couldn't move a runner in, or somebody in college who's so loyal to their program that they're blinded by the bright lights of whatever it might be, some SEC school, and you can't necessarily pay attention or appreciate what's going on the other side. Little League, there's just a joy in it, and I do think that's what attracts people. Why this year any better? To me, and you were there. I thought from the beginning, having seen the regionals, that it was about as wide open a field as we've seen. I'm not sure that translates. I don't know if people care about the competitive part of it, but it did feel like, every game, especially when you get to the second part of the second week, you don't know who's going to win. And it wasn't dominated by the West. We're so used to seeing California / Hawaii. That wasn't going to happen this year, and maybe
Yeah.
that contributed to it. But the kids from Lake Mary were a fun group of kids, easy to gravitate to. And Julie Foudy's, a superstar. She makes it enjoyable, and
Yeah.
it's a good cross kind of pollination of different people doing it. And I think there's some appeal to a larger group.
What's the one thing that Major League Baseball can glean from the Little League World Series?
Great question, Kratzy, because Foudy has gone to our president and said, "I wish more of our events could be treated that way." Now that's her personality, and God love her for it, and we'd all benefit if we could kind of live the way that Julie Foudy lives her life. It's a great question. I'm not certain that there are things they could take from it, because you understand the price that these guys, and the pressure that they're under and the contracts and all those things that never come up when you're talking about Little League for obvious reasons. I don't know how you do that other than perhaps you try to make the actual broadcast more enjoyable. Clearly, there's something about the Lamade Stadium experience. You don't get that. Ballparks, as unique as they may be to each other, there's still 35 to 50,000 in there. And, this Little League ball field is wildly unique. And I think it's one of those places that people would like to go visit. And probably a larger group would like to go see that. So you watch it on television as opposed to saying, I want to go to all 30 Major League ballparks. I don't know how you would take the joy and the innocence, the mistakes that are part of it and make it more enjoyable and hard to watch. I mean, God, after that final game, the number of people who came up to me and said, I can't believe, that the kids from Chinese Taipei did that. They didn't say it like you would insult a major league player for doing it. Like, what the hell was he throwing the ball to? There's nobody. It was more of like, we can relate to it. We understand it. It stinks for them. They're great kids. It's a great question. I don't know how you can take those aspects and bring it to the major leagues. I don't think that that's really possible, which is what I think makes the Little League such a unique event.
What do you think the urgency has to do with this conversation? And I mean that by, it being a long season, because I know that comes up every once in a while, Ravi, and you're really good on those global topics within the sport. But whenever someone's like, oh, we should shorten the season, it's like, does it really make a difference if you shave 5, 10, 12 games off the season? It's still going to feel long in the dog days of summer. It's not going to be like, oh my goodness, we suddenly have to all strap in. We've got 154.
Right. Yeah, and it gets a hell of a lot longer if your team stinks, like the White Sox. I mean, it's long in May. So you can't do it for all teams, but your point's well made. And look, I remember urgency is the word that I would always use when there was either labor strife or people confused and bothered by the game. And prior to its most recent changes, when we were post-pandemic 7-inning doubleheaders, that is the word I would always use with regards to Little League, is that innings 3 and 4 are critical innings because there's only 6 of them. And when we had 7-inning games, the urgency in innings 3, 4, and 5 were much greater than they feel like in a 9-inning game. And how you get more urgency into each game, each month, that's always been the word that I would use. And I was a big advocate for 7-inning games because of urgency. I want to sit there in the 5th inning and feel like this really matters. And when you have 2 more innings, it seems to, and I'm sure there are going to be analytics that show similarly that, a game in April means the same as it does in September. I understand that in a mathematical sense, but there's absolutely no way that the athlete, and both your guys can speak to it, that a game in April feels as intense, as important as a game in mid to late September. It doesn't. Does it mean 1 win and 1 loss? Yes, but it's absolutely not. Played the game and the pressure is different. Urgency is huge, and that was why I was a fan of the 7-inning games for that reason only. The third, fourth, and fifth innings just seem to mean a lot more because the end is coming a lot quicker.
Yeah, and you would see a lot more like bunting, getting a guy over, like small ball, all that stuff, which
Yeah.
is part of baseball, and I think is awesome. The part you saw in the Little League World Series, a guy they won on a bunt, basically.
Congestion from sinuses, allergies, or a cold can be all-consuming.
That includes snoring for me. But Scotty, I found some relief from Navage Nasal Care. You've got to try this. Navage makes breathing easier. My Navage unit is a game changer for clearing my congestion fast.
Yeah, Kratz, Navage uses that smooth saline flow and nasal suction to clear those nasal passages.
It works for me, Scotty. I've noticed a huge difference since I started using Navage. I'm breathing better and the whole family is pumped that I've got the snoring under control.
We want to help you get relief from your congestion too. Our listeners can order a convenient Navage starter pack, including a nose cleaner with batteries included and 30 original salt pods. Everything you need to get started. Plus, get a cleaning kit as a free gift with your order, but only going to our exclusive URL, navage.com/foul, and using our promo code FOUL. Again, to order your Navage free cleaning kit and for full product details, go to navage.com/foul. That's promo code FOUL at navage.com/foul.
You were just in Philly. Talk to us about the atmosphere there, for one, and for two, do you think this team can make a run here to get a World Series?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I would guess that today, if you ask me, similarly to the Astros in the American League, look, the Dodgers are healthy again. Muncy's a huge bat in that lineup. It'll be really interesting to see what they're going to continue to get out of Buehler, and the X factor in all of it is whether Yamamoto or Glasnow come back. The Phillies are absolutely on line one. I happen to believe that the Padres are a line one team. If you're asking me to kind of go out, and I'm not sure it's a limb, but I'd say Astros, Padres, World Series, knowing that the Dodgers are absolutely as good when healthy. The Phillies are absolutely as good. But Darvish is coming back for San Diego. They have an unbelievable bullpen. Their lineup is crazy good. And they just haven't been able to put it all together and really compete in the postseason. And that may have to happen for them. The Phillies have competed in a postseason and come up short. And look, I think that all these teams go through those lulls, and I think Philly is coming off of one of those lulls. And when you got Schwarber doing what he did last night, they got to get Harper, right. They need more consistency from Turner. They got to get Bohm back and hitting consistently. But yeah, Philadelphia's bullpen is tremendous. Dombrowski did a phenomenal job. But those are the three teams to me that I would put on that first line: Philadelphia, San Diego, and the Dodgers.
All right, so you talk about first-line teams. One of the first things we talked about was the Astros. You have the Astros-Diamondbacks game this weekend, correct?
Yeah.
Now, when you go into Joe Espada's office, can you ask him, are you in a place where you can tell Justin Verlander he's not starting a playoff game if Justin Verlander doesn't turn it around?
You're asking if I would ask that question?
Yeah.
Kratzy, ask Frazier if I would ask that question. Of course I would ask that. Of course I would ask that. Why wouldn't I ask that question? And yeah, I think it's rather obvious that that's not a dependable. Certainly, game 1, 2, and if you happen to end up in a short series, which it certainly doesn't look like they're going to do the way Seattle is playing. But look, they could be a wild card team depending on how that season finishes. If they finish with the third best record in the league, yeah, that's a hard one, man. To sit there and say he should be going in games 1, 2, or more especially game 3. But absolutely, that's a question I would ask. And look, they've I just saw Hader on. They've clearly got some kid there that are pitching really well. Framber has proven himself, and the jury's out. I don't know. We're going to see DeGrom come back for Texas. They're not making the playoffs, but how many starts would you need out of Jacob DeGrom to say, okay, he's ready to pitch in the postseason as a starter? To me, he's still ramping up, and there's been no evidence that suggests he's ready to give you 7 innings of one-run ball. Now, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 more starts. We'll see. I hope we get him on Sunday night. There's a chance of that. I'd love to see the great Verlander again. I would. I think baseball is better when the stars are being stars. But absolutely, that would be a question we'd ask. I guess I would frame it like, what do you need to see out of Verlander to use him as a starter in a postseason series?
Okay, so you wouldn't have just asked, Joe, do you have enough hair on your chest to tell Justin Verlander he's not on the roster?
If you'd like me to ask it that way, I'll record it and then send it in to you guys so you can see that I asked it with hair on your chest. I have no problem doing that. I know this, knowing Joe, he would laugh at it, but then he'd answer it, and he'd probably answer it as if I asked it the other way. But I'm going to try to remember hair on your chest.
Well, Ravi, the backstory real quick is that these guys were giving me a lot of crap yesterday for a, quote, hot take that Justin Verlander right now doesn't deserve to be in the playoff rotation for them. And I was like, he would kind of say the same thing. He said his mechanics are out of whack. He doesn't look good. It's a small sample size. I get it. But they've got like 5 good starters right now. And I can make a case for at least 3, like you mentioned, stuff-wise, that are very far ahead of him at the moment in Framber, Hunter Brown, and Kikuchi at least. And we could keep going on Arrighettian and even Ronel Blanco pitching well. But I think there's at least 3 in front of him that he's going to have to show some serious progress.
So, Kratzy, you have enough hair on your chest to start Verlander in one of these games ahead of those guys?
Oh, I don't care. That's why nobody's going to ever want me as a manager, because I wouldn't care. I'd put the best guys out there. The argument was that he won't do it because he just has that much cachet. You wouldn't do it to Kershaw. You wouldn't do it to Kershaw. Oh,
yeah, I'm not sure. Like today, I'm not sure. Again, give me the rest of the month and give me an improved Buehler and let's say Yamamoto or Glasnow come back. Clayton Kershaw is not starting in one of those first 3 games for me. No. And I don't think Kershaw would get in the way of that either. I don't think he'd get in the way of that either.
But I think Verlander, as a veteran, I think you give him 1 start. Even if it stays this way for him, in my opinion.
So there we go. That was kind of the argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why would you in a short series why would you do that? Why would you do that when you have somebody else this season who over the long term has proven himself to be better? And let's say you're down 2 games to none, and now you want that. I don't even feel fair to Verlander to me. But you may be right. You've all been in clubhouses. Joe Torre's probably managed that way. Franco, I understand the nod to a veteran, but when the veteran is healthy and pitching well, I wouldn't see it today. Give him 3 more starts and things could change, but I wouldn't see it today.
Well, either way you put it, they're going to make whatever decision they want. But my wife tonight is making lemon chicken, and I thought about
boom, yeah.
Hey, we go to this place called Franco's in Williamsport, and Ravi got me on this spot for the last 3 years, and first time I had the lemon chicken, and it was to die for. And I'm like, I'm going to make Ravi jealous before he leaves here. So I'll send you a picture.
I am jealous. I'll tell you, it is like chicken piccata. They do it a little bit differently there, and you can get it with or without pasta. In any event, you ever go to dinner with Frazier, you could be in the middle of like the longest, best, deep conversation ever, and as soon as that plate gets put down in front of him, he shuts it. There is no more talking. We are there to eat, and then as soon as the meal's over, we ain't small talking either. We are walking back. We're done.
That's right. You want to impress Todd Father too? I'll tell you this. Show up with a big appetite. I went to with Top Father, right, in Cincinnati, and I was like, don't challenge me, bro. And he saw.
I wear my Walter Johnson sweater I just got, and we're ready to rock. Ravi Kurtzman all day.
Awesome having you on. Really appreciate the time. Have a great call. On Sunday, we'll be watching Astros and Diamondbacks on ESPN. And
thanks, fellas. Kratzy, I got you covered, man. Hair on the chest. I got you covered, buddy.
Let Joe know I told you to say it.
See you, buddy.
Love that. See ya. Thanks, Ravi.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.